Hello everyone, you got the Bub031 here again, and I know I haven't done a Debeaujeu update in a while. I'm just going to recap on what I have done and the possible future of Debeaujeu, what I'm thinking of, which is going to be more at the end. I showed you in the last part 7, the lights. I'm going to show you the lights a little bit better with that. So, I want you to all sit back, relax, and enjoy. So, now that we got the intro out of the way, let's continue on with this update. So, as you have been noticing, since September, Debeaujeu has been working the layout in many operating sessions. Usually it has 2 locals situated to it. Usually it's either 8A and 8B or 7A and 7B. Reason being is the back half is used for the grain and DDG. The front half is for general mixed services like the fertilizer, the tie loading, and the transfer. So, it's been getting a lot of use. The buildings have been getting a little bit roughed up, so I did take it out to fix it and glue it. Usually we have this on the loop, so you have a bit of a lead track, but back in January as well, this was used on the main, and it was the only crossover you could to get around the other loop. So you had to plan to get your train in and out of there quickly before you were going to tie up traffic. It was kind of challenging. Yeah. So the reason I am also doing a quick voiceover is I've been noticing my audio on my phone has been going on the mic. So that's why I'm doing a voiceover right now. And we're going to continue on with this and show you what I have done lately to Debeaujeu. So let's take a look. So we're now going to look underneath the module of Debeaujeu and what I have done. And as you can see on this section, it runs off of track power. So I have 2 leads coming off the end and another lead going into the Woodland Scenics just plug and play system. And one of the Woodland Scenics just plug and plays runs the expansion hub. However, what I am thinking of doing is running these off external power because these actually draw a lot of light and a lot of power off the layout that sometimes my flashing lights up top take a lot of juice and some of my buildings are not lit up. So I'm looking at maybe getting a few more Woodland Scenics external plugs. Also, on the other 4-foot section of Debeaujeu, you could see I have done a couple of other modifications. I do have another Woodland Scenics just plug and play light hub and expansion hub. As well, I've added some styrene tube style to actually guide wires into the layout so that it was be for the expandable buildings. I've done that on both sides. One of the sides of Debeaujeu has 2, and the far side that I'm showing you right now has 1. And they all just plug into the system. Like so. It is a little bit of a... I am going to clean this up because I know it's being used with tape right now. Alright, so we're going to continue on with more lights. I'm going to turn the lights on in the DDG plant, like so. As well, I added a forklift, so I actually did add more scenery to the module, as you could see right there. And I did place the springs back in my Pico switches. I did take them out the first time, but I was having issues with them at the layout that it was derailing cars. So I decided to put them back in, and I want to thank Pico for that. Okay, so I've added a few more lights at the fertilizer area. It's you can see here. As well, in Terminal 2 drop, you can see how bright the light is. Usually on the layout, that's actually completely darkened. All right, we're gonna move on to the lights that I added on the main, one of the main droppables. So the security guard office has a light inside. It is very bright. And as well as one of the main offices to Debeaujeu has a light. I do want to add a TV or find a TV to go in that office area just to really give it some more kick. I also added a few lights to the wet dry bin and on top of the tall surge bin. And as well, I added an aircraft flashing hazard light on the actual first elevator tower. On Terminal 1, you could see, as you know, there are lights in the Cargill and in the main drop area. But I also added a few more lights to the surge bin and to the elevator flashing up top. But usually when a train goes through, it actually goes dim and it sometimes turns off. So that's why I want to try and do external power with this. Maybe that's going to definitely be in the future. I know that is. It does sometimes, when I do see a train go through, it does draw a lot of power. Like, it'll actually go out. So, of course, with the hobby, like we do, once we test it, we'll try and get it back, and we'll try to make it look better. So, as always, this place never stops. And as well, you could see inside of the truck shop that I'm going to show you a close-up right now. So with this close-up here of the truck servicing center, you can see the lights are on. Usually this is out when it's on track power. I am going to try to put this on external power. Let's move on with the module. Also, compared to with the forklift on the far side, I did add ties to this side for the tie loading area. So a truck usually sits there for when the car actually does pull up. Also, I now want to thank Jeff Hill, because due to the fact I am not really that well at making card holders, he decided, I asked him, and he decided to make me a few for Debeaujeu. So I painted them in John Deere green, as you can see here. This is inbound, outbound Cargill Terminal 1 for the far side. He did give the initial green, and then I put 2 more green coats of this just to go with this. I also have made up with these the actual using a stencil / electric stencil. That was tie loading and the insecticide. Here's the Cargill fertilizer. This one is the Terminal 2 DDG plant, which is in this area right here. I also have the Alexandria Transfer Sub car card holder, and the last car card holder I actually have is where the local sits that will be here. And the only time that locomotive is to be used is on the back track. It's the only time. All right, so let's continue on. Another thing adding to Debeaujeu was the purchase of these 4 60-foot dried distilled grain hoppers from Walter's Proto. I got 4 of them from Otter Valley, so thank you very much for their kind service. I got 2 in the CEFX markings and 2 in the BRIX, as you can see. So that's going to wrap up most of the module here. All right, so far that's been the update here on Debeaujeu. I'm now going to quickly show you on the possible future expansion of what I'm going to do with Debeaujeu, as you can see. So, as you can see now, I have the matte version of the actual junction of Debeaujeu. You could sort of see the curve that I'm trying to do, as well as I got to figure out the diamond and the actual passing track. So this is the Alexandria sub. I want to turn this into a free mode portion and have it all connect together. As well, there would have to be a little bit of extra. I'm thinking about doing this between 1980s and early 2000s. That way there with the Ottawa Central, it's right there. All right, so let's look at our work. All right, so I now have Extract CAD up. And as you can see here, I had the existing 8-port section of Debeaujeu. So here's what I want to do. I'm looking at maybe doing 2 4-port sections, as well as 2 triangles with a pass round track, diamond, and a few sidings. I got to figure out how to get the diamonds done. I think I may have to build them by hand. So that's going to be really something to work on. So as well with the pass round track and with the actual junction portion. As well, for the industries that are there, they would have to be moved onto this. So that little siding would be the tie loading, and the far siding would be the transfer for the Alexandria sub, that steel, metal, to go to Iveco. And yeah, that would be pretty much it. But it's going to be a project, like I said, this is a future thing, not an actual thing that's going to be happening yet. I want to figure out and get this right before I actually implement it onto the layout. So yeah, this is going to be it for this update. I'm just going to quickly wrap up the video from here. This is going to be a big project sometime down the road, so we'll figure out when. All right, so that's going to be it for this update on Debeaujeu. As you can see, I still also have the backdrops to either paint or put a picture on. But that's it for now. And as well, it's going to be probably sometime in the future, like way down the road, of when I want to actually do that second phase. Also, I do have some stuff coming in the mail. I'll probably be doing a few more videos of that and reviews in there. But that's going to be it for now, everyone. So thank you all for watching, and as always, make sure the signal's green and keep moving down the line.